Today's experience with ISME for the HR and the Marketing Conclave of 2025 was very interesting. I think the topic of the generation alpha reaching the workforce and how we are looking at strategies from a perspective of talent management is something that all of us have to think about today, because the time is now. It's very near from the time that the new generation is going to come into the workforce. So it was interesting, when you think about how people who are already not only digital natives but AI natives, people who are looking at a different way of working, who are looking at purpose, who are global citizens already, who are so used to personalization, hyper-personalization, and how organizations are needing to change and think about different ways of engaging, attracting, and retaining a lot of this talent which is going to come into the workforce. In the panel discussions also, some of the interesting things were that we are talking about a generation of people now, whether it is alpha, whether it is Z, whether it is even the older generation which is looking at concepts like micro retirement, is looking at concept like what does longevity in an organization mean, is looking at making an impact and rather just staying in a role. It's looking at things of maybe doing multiple careers at the same time. These are concepts which I think each one of us, not only in HR but whoever works in organizations, have to think. We have to figure out how we are going to tailor our philosophy and our mindset to tackle these real, and I wouldn't say they are problems, but real challenges, because you've got to make an organization work. You have to ensure that there is continuity. You have to ensure that stakeholders and shareholders' needs and requirements are met. But you also have to ensure that you tailor work to take into consideration the newer and the different demands that are being made in the workforce by different generations. So I think it's a very interesting time for us, along with AI, along with a different attitude to work, along with a different mindset and agility and speed that is required. One of the main things that I see happening today, as say even compared to 5-6 years ago, is that you don't have time to say, I will wait for a year and do something. Whatever change initiatives you have to put in place, whatever differences you have to put in place, you have to do it soon. You're looking at shorter time frames, and I think waiting for a perfect solution is not the answer, but what is required is experimenting, trying out, seeing if it works and moving on. So I think that's the main thing that we are looking at in the future of work, and it was very interesting to see how a lot of my HR colleagues are thinking of the same thing. Everyone is in a different trajectory of the evolution, but the great part of it is that I think everyone realizes that there is a change, and the mindset and the perspectives need to change, and we need to start doing it immediately. Yeah, so the trends that I see in generation Z and perhaps the millennials also today, one is, I think I mentioned this thing about space and time. Rigid frameworks around you need to work from so and so time to so and so time, or at such and such place, is something that I think organizations are struggling with. So there is a paradox. While you want to ensure that people come back to work, because that does help collaboration and innovation, we also need to figure out how are we going to really cater to the needs of a workforce which doesn't want to be constrained by time and space. The second one is, around like I said, hyper personalization. I think organizations are moving towards personalizing, towards bucketing things for various generations. But the trend that I see today, and that's something that we see in so many areas of our life, is this content that is tailored to me as an individual. And so I think that's another trend. Just because it's working for someone else may not mean that it's working for me. So I don't think you can have a one size fits all, but you need to start thinking about how in policies, in frameworks that you make, how is it that a person is still going to feel that they can tweak it to their individual needs. There's the second one. The third one, I think, is around what I would call portfolio careers. I don't think anyone today is looking at just doing one job. Many people have a job during the day, their day job, which gives them a sense of perhaps not purpose, but financial stability. And then a lot of them are doing these other gigs, which could be content on social media, which could be work for not-for-profit, which could be anything else that they are really interested in, right? And so how do we ensure that you legitimize people's need to do various things maybe at the same time? And the fourth thing I think that you see, and I see as a trend, is this whole thing about being in a particular organization for many years. I think I see more and more youngsters today wanting to perhaps do that particular role for say 18 months to 2 years, and then wanting to do either something more or ensure that they're learning something more. And if they don't get that in the organization that they are a part of, they are going to look for other avenues. So if you don't want people to leave your organization, I think what you need to do is figure out how you can create that, for want of a better word, the buzzword nowadays is a talent marketplace inside your organization, so that people can look for different opportunities inside your organization rather than try and find them somewhere else.